Good morning, YouTube. Have you ever been so happy for somebody that you shed a tear? Okay, so I don't know how many of you guys know, but I absolutely love Wally Funk. Wally Funk was one of my heroes. So my hero's always been Wally Funk. She was into the Mercury 13 program when I was young. So listen.
This is the moment that Jeff Bezos invited her. Her name is Wally Funk. Told her and invited her to come on the trip.
This is so marvelous.
We land gently on the
I cried first time.
We open the hatch and you step outside. What's the first thing you say?
I wish say, honey, that was the best thing that ever happened tonight.
This is amazing. I grew up with her.
Funded women in space program in the 60s, according to the announcement from Blue Origin.
It's just,
and they got training apparently similar to that of the Mercury astronauts, but yet never got to go into orbit. Then Funk will be the oldest.
This is so neat.
To go into space.
I am so excited.
A man says his entire.
Anyway, so sorry, I had to digress there for a minute. So sometimes, you just hear something and I'm just so amazed because when I was growing up, we always thought we would be in space, as girls did too. We really believed it. And when she was in training and the other 12 women with her were in training, we really thought that one day we would go into space. Well, because they didn't allow women in the Air Force. She couldn't go because you had to be part of the Air Force to become part of NASA. Now that has since changed, but just the same. She didn't get to go. And for years, she should have gone. She beat out men on all of the stress tests, on the ability. She was a pilot all her life. I mean, even at 82, she still flies. I used to have her picture up on my wall. It was from Time or Life magazine, and I had cut it out and I had it on my wall for years because that was. And then when I lived in Leavenworth, we had a store there in Leavenworth, an antique store, and she came and visited me there and left me and gave me her card, and then she sent me some postcards with her picture on it and stuff. And that's just been recently, so in the last 15 years that I got to see her again. And it was amazing because she walked into my store and she was really there to visit the girl upstairs. And I said, and she had another lady with her, and they're a little bit older than me. And she comes in and I looked at her and I said, "You're Wally Funk." And she said, "Well, yes, I am." And the other lady that was with her kind of got a little, I want to say aggressive or defensive or something. And she kind of came at me kind of like, "Yeah, so what if she is?" And I'm like, "She's my hero," and that changed the whole conversation, the whole mood. But it was just wonderful. And then to see that after all this time, she's finally getting to go to space. I mean, 60 years, that woman's been waiting for 60 years to get into space. And she is just going to go on this little bitty trip because I think that they're only in space for like maybe a 10-minute total thing. But isn't that just, I like say, there isn't too many times when I actually tear up because somebody else got their wish. But I am so happy for that woman. She deserved it years ago. Getting ready to send my Darius Christian to see if I can get it fixed. I don't know if you can see that or not, but right there's a little problem with the shank. And I'm very unhappy about that. I actually bought it that way without realizing that I had bought it that way. It was very thin on one side, a bad drill, which is sad to say when someone like Darius does it. Now, Darius Christian is a really, I don't know if you can see how that is, but see how that was just drilled bad. Just a bad drill. Got too thin there. And I do believe at one time it had the little piece of wood in there, and I think that eventually it just came loose because I don't smoke it. So I have no idea when that happened, but I would like to get that fixed. So I'm going to send it to Robert and see if he can do anything for it. I really just don't no, or I just might take it up there with me and get his opinion on it because it might just be something that I can't get anything to fix it. We'll see. I'd like to have it done, but uh, Darius Christian. His real name is Darius. I don't know, Menchanio or something. And his wife is the Christian part. Her last name is Christian, and he honors his wife with that. He plays a sitar, which was really kind of neat. Now you got to remember that we're talking about years and years ago, so I ought to see if he's still alive. I'm sure he is because he was. Oh, he was a little bit older than me, but not by much. Very, very nice man. When I met him and stuff. But back in those days, there was so few pipe makers that they just didn't have the equipment that you've got now. I mean, you didn't have the every man can have it kind of equipment that we have now. Used to be you had to be pretty well off to afford some of the grinding equipment and some of the special stuff. And that's why they were done by hand. Now a lot can be done by machine, and that's kind of neat. I'm not complaining because I like my machine ones as well as I like my hand carved ones. So I'm not. Anyway, in this one I am smoking some Brigham. Oh, let's see, King Street West. It's a really very, very English blend, and it's from 14. It's a very English blend, and it's okay. It's in one of my little bulldogs, my little dunnies. I had a friend in over the weekend from Florida. And I think he was kind of surprised because we were going through just boxes of pipes, digging through, trying to find pipes. And he stepped on this one. He was all nervous about it and everything, but it didn't. Sometimes they can take a licking and keep on ticking. This one here is probably one of my oldest and most loved. Can you see how that edge is just almost gone? Well, I'm going to get back out to the garden. I heard that on the television about Wally. That's why I got dirt on my nails from digging in the garden. But I was listening to the news, and I heard that about Wally, and it was just like, actually, I knew last night that it had happened. I knew yesterday. One of my other friends on Instagram sent me a text and said, Did you see? Wally Funk's going to space. It's like, oh, wow. And as soon as I knew that, I was looking it up on the internet, but to see it on TV, like that, it just kind of put me right here. I am so excited for her. I wanted to go into space, but I knew that I couldn't. I wasn't the dedicated person. I wasn't the physical person and stuff. But I still thought maybe a civilian would get into space in my lifetime, And then we sent up, Sally Ride and all them up there. And then when we had the big explosion, the only time we sent a civilian up, first time we sent a civilian up, she was a teacher. The rocket exploded. So I knew then that probably in my lifetime, they weren't going to be sending up just civilians. And space travel, it was so theorized when we were younger. Science fiction really came into being in the 60s and stuff. So we all thought we would be, zipping around on. But then again, we also didn't take into account some of the things that did happen, like the microism of everything. When we were young, a computer, the bigger the computer, the better. Nowadays you've got more in my phone than we used to have in our whole, company. So it's kind of neat. But anyway, that was all I wanted to say. Was I was just so excited that Wally got to go to space, and I wish I was with her, but I'm not. Wally never got married. She said that aerospace was her husband. Isn't that neat? Oh, well. All right. Happy, joy. I'm watching you. I really am. I have been watching a lot. I can put it on my television because I can connect it now. And I just put it on the TV and I listen to it. And I have it so that it goes random into my subscriptions. So I get to hear a lot of people. Then as I walk by, I'll look at them and I think, oh, they're getting older, or isn't that cute? Or, oh, they got the kid in the picture and stuff, that kind of thing. But, for the most part, I listen to y'all. Happy, happy, joy, joy.